What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and with me tonight, it's Chris, the Stats Man Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey. The Timberwolves, Clippers, and Warriors are combined have won 21 of their last 23 games as they battle for the bottom of the West here. So
it's
crazy
a fight.
Stuff happening at the bottom of the West here.
Did you find that stat in your travels, or did you create that on your own?
Oh, it's just my travels.
Oh, wow.
His travels, just his general stat traveling.
Oh, if I created that would have been impressive.
Oh,
That would have been, hey,
I wouldn't put it past you.
it's time for the Chris stats, man. We're ready for him. And like I said, he's fresh off the green. The Lombard, Joe McCroskey, get that, Joe.
That was a good one. That was one of the best ones I've gotten in a while.
I know, man. I'm working on it.
the
I'm
lawn
trying.
boss. It's good. It's good stuff.
I'm trying. And joining us tonight, we got a special guest. Unfortunately, I could not think of a cool nickname, Mark. It's Mark, longtime Wolves fan.
Mark, Minnesota Mark.
Minnesota Mark. There you go.
Right.
Man, on top of it. Minnesota Mark, introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about yourself a little bit here.
Yeah, live in Minnesota, lifelong Timberwolves fan. Like the Bulls back in the day, but not so much anymore.
Yeah. All right.
Mark, one thing I wanted to highlight with Mark, what I really appreciate with this guy is he had season tickets to the Timberwolves a long time ago when they went, what was the 17 and whatever the math is on that?
Yeah, it would be 17 and 65, right?
So
Yeah.
When we had the Alexei Shved days and
Ooh.
Nikola Pekovic.
My gosh.
Yeah, just the core of Minnesota basketball there. So
Die Hard.
Hard. Yeah, through all the bad years, and now we're actually a legit team. So
yeah. So it's been has the turnaround been fun? You know, obviously getting Anthony Edwards and and Cat last year, that conference finals run. How was that for you? And as a fan, like you said, lifelong, was that just a hell of a time or what?
yeah, I was at a game with Chris actually this year, and I was telling him how surreal it is. When I was a season ticket holder, they were having a hard time filling up the lower bowl.
Oh wow!
With people, and now every single game is sold out the entire stadium.
Yeah,
and it's loud. And when I was there as a season ticket holder, it was like you heard two claps, and most people were like watching other things and going to get drinks and like eating and doing other things besides watching what's happening on the court. And now everybody's engaged in the game. I mean, it's night and day. It's crazy. It's really, really fun to be a part of a winning organization now. So
yeah, must be nice.
Nice. Sounds
It must be nice. It's fun. Oh, everybody's excited. We, since Chris has been up in Minnesota, we've sort of become like pseudo Minnesota fans, at least watchers of the Minnesota. Even though apparently we're haters
before they drafted Edwards. So kind of
so
worked out.
Yeah, you worked out
right in swing for me here.
Yeah.
Makes Chris more pleasant when they're good.
Yeah. All right, well, we got a fun show for you guys tonight. We're going to break down some playoff questions that Chris and Mark have given us, and we're going to give a little would you rathers going around the horn, and then we'll see if we have time. We might dip a little March Madness, which is sort of my juice right now. I know the boys are more locked in the NBA still, but I'm there. All right, gentlemen, we got some questions going into the playoffs here. One good one we had to start. Most likely 5 seed or lower to win round one. Joey, let's start with you here, man. Yeah, I figure you might have an interesting one. Per chance.
I do. Wow. For a chance.
No, per chance.
Oh, I think
per chance. Whoa, hey.
Jeez, I was like, wow, complimenting me, and now your shot's fired. Oh, with the Pistons.
This is all right. Yeah. Let's see here.
Pistons right now, they'd be up against the Knicks.
Okay.
We've kind of harped on the Knicks, I feel like all pod season, especially lately the past couple of weeks, about the minute load for them. I don't know. The Pistons seem like one of those teams that could catch somebody sleeping, like maybe a Magic versus Bucks kind of scenario from last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or I guess Pacers versus Bucks 2 years ago. So what Magic? God, that was 3 years ago. Was that in the bubble when the Magic blitzed them? That's whatever.
Yeah.
Either way, up and coming young team against kind of the veteran team stuck together, well coached type of thing. Brunson is, I can't remember if he's still out or just about to be back after the injury. He's got some legs get underneath him here. I guess it just comes down to, do you trust the Nova Knicks to piece it all together in a 7-game series against a young team in the Pistons, who top 10 defensive rating, pace, young point guard, pretty hungry. Isaiah Stewart, like Stewart versus Cat, like that seems like a pretty kind of fun matchup. You get a lot of oh my gods from Cat, I feel like, in that one. A lot of hacking going on around there. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm the only one that's watched the Pistons again, mostly when they played the Bulls, but I'm still kind of high on them. So I think they might catch them. This feels like a prime matchup for an upset.
I really like that pick. Like you said, young, feisty team, and then the Knicks, who are burning the candle at both ends there as far as the minutes go. Could an injury happen? Could something that changes the series? It certainly could get interesting. Mark, let's go to you here, man. You got a seed lower than 5 that you feel could win a first round?
I mean, I would say outside of the obvious, the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves have a legitimate shot. I mean, my pick, I think the clear pick is the Warriors. I mean, how well they're playing right now with Jimmy Butler. And if they're matching up against the Nuggets round 1, the Nuggets this year, they have a solid record, but I'm not real scared of them in the playoffs. I think their depth has been a big issue this year for them.
Okay.
And I think Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Draymond, that whole squad is playing motivated, and Steph is realizing at the end is near and he wants it. So
certainly one of the scarier teams, lower seeded wise, at least in the West, along with the Wolves. Yeah, interesting that you say you kind of like that matchup though against the Nuggets. I was kind of looking at that too, and I was like, obviously Golden State feels like the team right now that's going to be, maybe the biggest problem. But I was like, ooh, Jokic, I mean, who knows? But like you said, Jimmy, Draymond, I mean, those are names. We know those.
Yeah. I just think that the Nuggets they don't have the team that they had a couple years ago when they won the ring. And I think they're very top heavy. And once you get into their bench, that's when you can make some moves on them. So
yeah, and the Warriors definitely have some guys knocking around on their bench that could be difference makers in a series.
Does anybody have any concern about them having to overexert themselves to kind of hold on to this 6 seed with who's right behind them? Obviously, your Timberwolves and Clippers are. I mean, Timberwolves are tied.
They're right there. I mean, they're right there.
Game behind, so like you are right there. It's going to take everything the Warriors have to keep that spot.
Yeah. But they're winning games without
the other
Curry,
night, right? Yeah, Curry is exhausted, so it's not a good sign.
Is it weird that like players are just like, he's not playing tonight because he's tired?
Yeah.
You have 80. What do you mean? You have
They got to cover, right?
Play, guys.
He can sit out any games he wants because he has enough years of service, right? Isn't that like if you have 10 years of service,
he's earned it. I think if Steph's a little tired,
he's an old man at 36 years old.
His elbows creaky. Like, so hey, you get up there and things start to hurt. Yeah. It didn't hurt before, man.
You'll get there one day, Chris.
Yeah, I think you got a point there, Joey. Obviously, I mean, like it's going to be one or the other, right? It's going to be either, hey, they had to exert too much energy and they didn't have enough gas left, or they came in hot because they were fighting the whole way through. So it's just like, all right, which one that pays off? And yeah, maybe an older team, maybe it does lean towards, maybe being a little too much work for them. Yeah. All right, Chris.
I am a little surprised, Mark, that you did pick the Warriors. I know you don't want to be too homerish on your team, but I got some stats to back up why the Denver Nuggets want nothing to do with the Minnesota Timberwolves in round 1.
All right,
in the last 5 games, since Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinals, the Nuggets have not beaten the Wolves. They're 0-5 against the Wolves. Meanwhile, they've beaten the Warriors 9 straight. Jokic just has Draymond's number, it feels like, and I feel like Jokic is going to get rattled by Draymond. Jokic barely cares to play, right, against whoever he's up against. So I think it's so matchup dependent. If the Timberwolves get the Nuggets, give me the Timberwolves all day. If it's the Warriors versus the Nuggets, I would lean Nuggets. Maybe it's still Warriors. But that's why when I made this question, I wanted to break out that stat because I'm like, the Timberwolves got this. If they can just get the right matchup round one. If they play the Lakers, I think they can beat them too. If they play Houston, I think they beat them too. The only team they can't, I don't want them to play round one is the Thunder. If we can get them maybe later, the Thunder like lose Chet or something, something happens. God forbid.
Mitchell Chet injury.
But, yeah, so that's kind of how I tried to go with an East team too. There's just nothing in the East. So
I know, man.
I got you.
The Pistons. That's the team.
All right, you did go. Yeah, Pistons is
but other than that, man, no. When you quick scroll through the East, it's like, oh yeah, no, that's not there. But how do you like Minnesota's matchup right now with Houston? Obviously, a young feisty team as well, but doesn't have anybody as good as Ant on their team. I don't think. Ant's gonna be the best player in the series in that. But how
they don't like. What's the rim protection look like for Houston? Their defense is solid. They grab a bunch of boards.
Yeah, but the Warriors might have them outmanned in the post and
that too. So yeah, the Warriors play the Rockets and Timberwolves get the Nuggets, and then we got 6-7s going in round 2.
Going in. Yeah. Is the West the biggest potential here for upsets? I mean, I guess the East is pretty top heavy, but rock chalk on the East, and then maybe some chaos in the West.
I'd say under the 4 seed in the West, I think there's a decent chance that 2 of the 4 bottom 4 teams upset in the West.
Yeah.
Possibly 3. I mean,
I like that.
Warriors, Timberwolves, and if the Grizzlies are playing the Lakers right now, I think that's a toss-up. I mean, I know that Luka and LeBron are what they are, but the Grizzlies are really good too, and they're playoff tested. So,
yeah, that would certainly be an interesting series.
Cakewalk either.
All right, on the other side of that coin, the most likely team seeded 3 or higher to lose in round 1. Chris, let's go. We'll go with you. Start.
So when I first looked at this question, I was dead set to take the Milwaukee Bucks. But when I looked into it a little bit more, I realized they're 2-0 against Detroit this year. They're 3-1 against the Pacers. And what's the other team? But they're 0-2 against the Knicks, 0-4 against the Cavs, 0-3 against the Celtics. And they're 3-1 against Orlando. So they beat the bad teams and they lose to the good teams. So they're right where they should be.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm still going to pick the Milwaukee Bucks to get upset in round 1. I think this team is trash. I don't understand the coaching that goes on with this team. I don't think they have any kind of creativity going on outside of just Giannis going to the – Giannis is going to break a record. He's going to get over 60% field goal percentage off of like 30-plus points per game, which has never been done before for the second time.
Staggering.
But it just feels like if you have to rely on that, Dame feels like he's a step slower, and he also doesn't give you anything defensively. So give me the Pacers, give me the hungry team like the Pistons to upset these Milwaukee Bucks. And actually, maybe this isn't even right anymore because now the Bucks are the 5th seed.
A 5th seed right now.
So I guess Houston, but I don't want to talk more. But yeah, that's
well, I mean, and kind of looking at this, it does seem like maybe too with the standings have shifted here in the last couple of days, but it does look like Houston's maybe the prime suspect. Joey, did you see anybody else that you thought of, in that 1 to 3 slot, or maybe let's expand to the 4 slot then?
Yeah, I was trying to think like if the Clippers find themselves a favorable matchup right now, it'd be against the Thunder, but like if they jump up 1, like Clippers over the Rockets, right? That'd be the Timberwolves, kind of same thing. I think the Rockets are the easy.
Why can't the Timberwolves do it? What do you mean, Joey?
They can. They can. I was just saying. I was trying to find a way to convince myself that the Clippers had a chance against the top seed, just kind of based on their up and down season. Obviously, overplaying expectations. Harden's been playing well, well coached, but like, are you trusting them over the Nuggets if it falls that way? No. Could you maybe convince yourselves over the Thunder?
No. No. Yeah.
Maybe like 6 games in that series if they had to. Like maybe they sneak 2 home games out of that one.
They could be feisty
It could be feisty. So I was like working backwards into this, but I don't see it. I think even if you expand it to 4, the Pacers would probably be the one if they're playing the Bucks.Maybe the Bucks catch them after last year.
Yeah. But even they're bouncing around the 4 and 5, and
But that just seems like a non-reality, which is good, I guess, right? At the end of the day, teams at the top should be
good to go.
Pretty
should
good.
be not primed to lose here.
Right.
Mark, you got a case to make for anybody?
I mean, out of this top 6 teams, I think the only one that I could see losing in the first round is the Rockets. And my only reasoning is the Rockets don't have that ultra superstar. They don't have that guy that's like the Jokic, the SGA, the Ant, like, Donovan Mitchell, Tatum, like all these teams, the Knicks have Towns, they have Brunson, like all these teams have like the superstars. And I think when the playoffs come around, something happens with these teams and you got to have that like top guy. And I don't know if the Rockets have that in a playoff series. Do I think they'll probably still win the first round? Likely, but out of those 6 teams, I would pick them as the most likely to lose just for that reasoning. Because if they match up with a team like the Timberwolves and, Ant rolls off an average of 40 points a game, I don't see how the Rockets overcome that.
Yeah, that certainly could be the scenario in which all of a sudden they're looking at like an 0-2 deficit or something, and they have no way to come back from something like that. Yeah,
it's kind of interesting, like the way that we think about the Rockets. It's almost like they're the Thunder of like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
like they had like just cracked in, and it was like, well, is Shea that guy? They haven't cemented who their guy is yet. Like they're right on the edge. They got a lot of draft picks. They got young players, but they just need to like, who's their guy, and then get some experience under their belt. And now that we've identified Shea as the MVP and their guy, it's like, well, it's problem solved, right? Like they're on their way. So they're just probably like a year or 2 out from us.
Yeah.
A Durant trade away.
You got to trade for Durant this offseason. Get rid of Jalen Green, maybe.
The thing I don't get about the Rockets is like, if you're at the end of the game, you need a guy to hit a shot. Who are you giving the ball to?
Who are you going to? Who's creating
Van Vliet?
Jalen Green? Like,
do you want a turnover or do you want to?
Yeah, like it's not scary. Sengun, like, I don't know.
Chris loves Sengun. So
Alperoon,
easy.
He's great. He's just not a. You don't trust Jokic. Well, I guess you could trust Jokic as an anomaly. Let's not talk about that. But like,
I'm trusting Jokic no matter
what.
Like
Sengun and Sabonis are in that second year center big man camp that like are playmakers, but they have short arms, so they don't really protect the rim at all.
Oh, classic Chris.
That's true.
Or Vooch. Vooch is kind of in that camp too, right? Like,
Vooch is just short. He's actually like he's like 6'11". He's not even that tall. He's listed
6'11".
I've seen Sengun listed like either between 6'9" or 7 feet.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
it is.
So he's 6'9".
Okay, right.
All right, well, that was good, fun debate on some different questions going into the playoffs. Obviously, as we get going here the next couple weekends or next couple weeks, crunch time, we'll have a better picture of the playoffs and the matchups coming forward. So let's get into some would you rathers. We got players to debate a would you rather have. Let's start with a hot one. I thought this was actually really good. Would you rather Tatum or Giannis? All right, Mark, we'll tee this up for you to start off with.
Man, I'd say Tatum.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I like Giannis.
He's cementing himself with the host of the podcast.
Well done.
Smart man.
I think Tatum can fit as a superstar on really any team, but I think Giannis needs to have a team around him that's built for Giannis. Mm-hmm. And Tatum's just that guy that can go get a bucket. And I mean, Giannis can too, but it's just different. He can't knock down the three. He's gotten better at the mid-range shot, but I don't know. I think Tatum's more of an ultra number one and knockdown shooter, a guy that you want the ball in the hands. Now he has a ring. So
yeah,
I definitely take Tatum.
The weight's off the shoulders. Yeah, he's definitely more of like a 3-level scorer, like you're saying. Yep. I like that. Where Giannis maybe is a little bit more head down to the basket or mid range.
Yeah.
Joey, Your thoughts on this one?
It's like one of those. I feel like I do this all the time. This is my Tess Mellis moment, right? It's well, what are you choosing in Would You Rather? Are we starting a team, or are we like is there already
what if they were traded for each other?
I have a team and I'm adding them to the team.
Let's put it this way.
You do it.
You do it. No, starting today and going forward, you could have one of those guys on the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, that's fun.
Who would you want? Who would you rather have on the Chicago Bulls? Like, I'm not saying the Bulls are any different than they are today. It's just all of a sudden either Tatum or Giannis is on the Bulls. One, you're watching them. That guy's on your team. That's the future you have going forward. What do you think?
Yeah. I take Giannis on the Bulls.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay. No wrong answers here, but let's be honest.
No. The thing Mark was saying about like the way that, Tatum fits into a team, Giannis has to have a team built like for him, around him. That makes really good sense, which is kind of why I was like, is it starting the like where does it go? But in terms of like dropping him on the Bulls, I would take Giannis. I feel like he's a really strong starting point, like to build around, because you're getting consistency, like what you're getting, and if you build it right around him, like when they won the title, you don't have to settle for him taking jump shots, right? You don't have to settle for him taking those like mid-range floaters. So, you guys know me, right? I want to know what I'm getting out of my basketball team. Like I want the consistent player that's going to give me the exact same thing night in, night out. Tatum's getting there, right? He's well on his way to that, and he's probably already there, to be honest. But there's still probably a little bit to get out of them, to bad habits to get out. I think, but I've been high on Giannis for a long time.
Yeah, you love Giannis.
If we look at our round table, I'm all in on Giannis this season.
But like I think, and maybe I could kind of thread the needle here, talk both sides, like you guys are saying. I see Mark's point where I feel like, and I agree with Mark. Again, personally, me, I would rather have Tatum. I feel like he's a more versatile player. I want him to build around, right? But I'll throw this out there and then I'll throw it to you, Chris. I feel like if there's a situation like this where you're dropping Tatum or Giannis onto a team, I feel like you drop Giannis onto the Bulls, I feel like they're more of a contender with Giannis than they are immediately than they are with Tatum. I feel like Tatum, you'd still need to have complementary pieces to go, where I feel like Giannis can maybe get you in that upper echelon as like that, maybe the number 3 player in the league.
So like Giannis raises your floor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tatum raises your ceiling.
Yep. Yeah. What do you think
Tatum's
about that?
like a
or am I wrong?
I think maybe it's disrespectful to say that he's like a poor man's Durant. Like he kind of just fits in everywhere. He's
That's
just
kind of good.
There's something missing with Jason Tatum's game. I don't understand. Why wasn't he the Finals MVP?
Swagger.
He's missing the swagger part of it. The aura is missing.
Well, Jaylen Brown locked down Luka, as we all know.
Yep.
in the finals.
Yeah, right. He only averaged 32.
He only has 32. Barely got to 32. You don't need to work for those 32, though, man.
But I think Giannis, remember when he won the NBA Finals and MVP?
Yeah.
That was like 3 or 4 years ago, right? He had a crazy block.
Game 7.
He carried that team to that championship. I mean, Durant's foot on the line. Noted.
Yeah, noted. Cliff notes.
But give me Giannis, dude. It's just that I love this question because I think it's a pretty solid to have a split. You can't go wrong either way. You're happy with either of these guys. But Giannis is the VORP is higher. If you want to look at some advanced stats, box plus minus win shares all favor Giannis over Tatum. But Tatum, man, I just don't get it. If he wasn't in Boston, if he was on any other team, we'd all. What's a good? He is like the Paul Pierce of this team now. It just feels like he's really good, but maybe he's better than Paul Pierce. Okay.
I do have and you guys know that I've been watching a lot of him. I feel like he's been playing excellent this season. But I do kind of agree with you guys. I do think there maybe is something that isn't quite capturing people's I don't know, the imagination, the excitement, because it's not there for Tatum. And I see that.
He's like a way better Michael Bridges, where Michael Bridges brings the same thing every night.
Okay.
And Tatum brings a little bit more. I just don't. But it's enough. He's won a champion. Might win again this year.
Is he like Dwayne Wade? Maybe is that a good?
There you go. Actually,
without the coolness of Dwayne Wade. Yeah,
it's like he was probably always the best player on that. Like, not the best, but like he was the main piece of those teams. But there was always the next person there who was like going to win the MVPs, right? There was the Shaq.
Yeah. Well, no, he won the MVP with Shaq.
He did. But you know what I mean? Like,
so I think you like a point where like Tatum could be the best player on a championship team. Obviously, he was, even though he didn't win the Finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
But you could bring in somebody to his team that would be a better player than him, and then he could slot into that number 2 role. Like he would be, he'd be a high number 2, but he would be fine. Like, yeah, I'm cool being their number 2 here. I can see that for Tatum. All right, let's go on to our next one. Another good debate here. Say Shai Gilgeous or Donovan Mitchell. Joey, what do you think, man? You're our Eastern Conference guy here.
I'm taking Shai all day.
Shai all day.
Shai all day.
Yeah.
Slay all day for Shai.
No question. That was quick.
Yeah.
What is it about Donovan that doesn't tickle your fancy?
I feel like Donovan Mitchell isn't clutch enough. Like I feel like he's really high. He's going to score you a lot of points.
Okay.
He's going to do a lot of good things for you that are going to be like really flashy. But when it comes down to like looking at the X's and O's, and probably if you went and pulled all the advanced stats, I didn't do that. But if you did, like the way that Shai gets his points just controls a basketball game in a lot better manner. Donovan Mitchell is going to get his points through getting his points, right? Whether that's I'm taking 30 shots, 40 shots, whatever it takes, I'm getting my points. Shai is too, but he's getting them more in the flow, and he's also getting to the free throw line, which may be annoying to some people, and maybe one of those things that a lot of people not talk down, but kind of hold against him. But as we all know, when it comes playoff time and things matter, right? What do? You get to the free throw line, you get guys in foul trouble, and you go win games like that. So I'm taking Shai. I like the play downhill at the rim. Donovan Mitchell can do that, but he's taken a little bit more jump shots than I would care for in this comparison.
Okay, Chris.
So I put this out there, and then I wanted to dig into it after. I thought for sure I'd be going Donovan Mitchell because I think playoff wise, Donovan Mitchell is a more dynamic. He's got the seasoning behind him. I feel like now he can finally get over the hump. I want Donovan Mitchell. I looked at this question like for this season, like who am I gonna? Because if it's Thunder, Cavs in the finals. We got lambasted for that, by the way, on social media.
The TikToks
were casuals for not wanting that matchup. But
I feel like we said we would like it. We just said we understood it wouldn't have any juice.
Okay, maybe we should clarify that for
the casuals.
People. But I was thinking like, oh, Donovan Mitchell, he's like a great playoff performer. And I realized he hadn't really been a great playoff performer since the Jamal Murray Donovan Mitchell series that was 5 years ago at this point. Which dated me and made me feel really old. Because Donovan Mitchell, he quit on Utah, right? And then in Cleveland, even last year against Orlando, he was okay. This year, he's taking more of a backseat. What makes Cleveland appealing is guys like Ty Jerome, Dean Wade, and DeAndre Hunter, which is why I don't like the Cavs as a long-term play.
You've been struggling to understand them. Is what?
I'm still on the struggle. Well, the one game I watched, they lose to the Magic.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. What's happening here?
What is happening here?
Shai, he's getting lambasted for his free throws, as Joey noted. But he's not really taking that many. It's 9 a game. Harden in his heyday was taking like 16. And every other MVP takes like double-digit free throw attempts in a game, and Shai's under that. Shai just flails his arm.
Yeah, nobody likes the
really
hunters.
Annoying.
That's what people don't.
He's very flexible and agile. He can move his body really well, which is very impressive, but also really annoying when he uses it for evil, like he does sometimes. So
for evil to create.
But content. Still, I like Shai. I like Shai more.
Okay, we've kind of heard these points. I had a thought, kind of based off what you guys were talking about. We'll throw it to Mark on this one. Is maybe Mitchell kind of getting into like Damian Lillard territory as far as living off a little bit of a legend. Like Lillard had the wave goodbye shot, and everybody talked about him as a clutch playoff performer.
Top 75 because of that shot.
Yeah, because of that one shot. I mean, but I feel like Mitchell is kind of in that vein where I've heard it when Joey was kind of talking about like he's not really a clutch playoff guy. Even I was sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm like, well, he's had that playoff performance, and then Chris right there says it 5 years ago against the Nuggets and Jamal Murray.
One game. It was
one game where he goes for 50. Yeah. So I mean, what do you think to that? Is that kind of maybe what it is he maybe living off a little bit of some legend here, or is he maybe in the ballpark with Shea? Would you have taken him over Shea?
I mean, I think Donovan Mitchell is living in the legend. I mean, I think he's a lot like Lillard in that, a lot of people remember that game, the 50-point game from years ago. But I think this league has become a what have you done for me lately kind of league. And Donovan Mitchell the last handful of years, what has he done in big games, not only in the playoffs, but in the regular season? Like, he puts up big numbers. He's Karl Anthony Towns, where he puts up big numbers, but when the big moment comes, he not that he fails, but he kind of takes a back seat a lot of the times. And to me, when you have like an SGA, he is looking for the spotlight and he's wanting it and he's craving it. And that's the guy that I want on my team. That's the guy that I want taking every shot. I don't want a Donovan Mitchell where he's like, I don't know, like, we're down by 1, maybe I should give it up. No, I want a guy I'm taking the shot every single time, give me the ball. And he's going to make it more times than not. And he's really good. Like, he can do it all. Like, he can get to the hoop, he can hit the mid-range, he can hit the outside shot. I mean, I don't think that it's really even a comparison in my mind, Mitchell versus SGA. SGA is
right now he's just a different tier.
I mean, SGA should be the MVP this year, but Jokic is just an other world athlete. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, how many stat categories is SGA leading in? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's having a great run this year. I think this is a little bit more tilted here to Shea. Maybe as a Chicago fan who watched him drop 70 and and a Boston guy who seems to just cook Boston every time he plays them. I have a little bit of that. I don't know. He could be something, but I think you guys are right. I think it's more about what have you done for me lately in those other big games. And I could see, let's say if we get that juiceless finals of them versus OKC, I can see him maybe struggling against a Lou Dort and some of the guys, a Caruso that they have, the defenders there on OKC. So, all right, we got one last. Would you rather? I think it's pretty spicy. I really like this one. We'll start with you, Chris, on this.
We're just okay.
Yeah, let's just go in. Ant or Luka?
I don't feel comfortable with this one.
This is first off. This is your boy Luka, who you've been a defender of since the backstabbing, we'll call it. And your other boy, Ant.
It's my two boys.
It's right your boys.
Here. Yeah. No, we are. How many? We are about a year, 11 or 10 months removed from Luka hitting a step back over Gobert.
True.
In the playoffs to go up 3-0, right? So like Ant or Luka, like, do you want to take the man with all the aura and a lot of kids, or the fat man, right? Like, you kind of want to, but you still kind of go with the fat man. I think in this case you still go with Luka. Like, Luka is still he's proving it right now with the Lakers. Like, the Lakers are title contenders mostly. Well, part of it, I think, because of they're the Lakers, and everyone's going to talk them up no matter what.
JJ Redick, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, because Redick's such a good coach.
This is great. The X's and O's guy.
Mind the game.
Minding the game over there.
I mean, they do have arguably the greatest player of all time on their team, besides Luka, but outside of
that, could be.
But how can you Luka, man? Just at least for this year. And also, the one knock I have on Ant is he needs to make just like one clutch shot, dude. The guy's like 1 for 23, I think, in the last minute or last 10 seconds of a game.
Why don't you lead with
the guy? Doesn't make anything. Like, I had with the Pacers the other night. I'm just like, or no, it was Randall that missed the other night. But just Ant, I just need to see something from you, bud. Like, can I trust you to take the shot like I can, Luka? So. Okay,
Mark, how you feeling about that? He went Luka over the hometown hero and Ant.
Dude,
kick him out of Minnesota.
Yeah, kick him out. I would take Ant all day over Luka. I mean, Luka is obviously he's a superstar, great player.
Yeah,
no knock on him, but
here comes
he can't play defense. He cannot play defense. He is so bad. And Anthony Edwards is arguably like one of the better two guards defensively in the league. and he's now in the top 5 for scoring.
Gets after it.
He takes all the big shots.
Doesn't make him, apparently.
He's durable. He's out on the court, and Luka's always has something nagging him.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know.
All-Star break.
Since the All-Star break.
I do want to preface I would not trade Luka for Ant.
I
feel like I wanted to get that.
Because
you don't trade your – what the Mavericks did is still – I think I need to talk about every single podcast, but like what the Mavericks did trading their hometown superstar, even – like you just don't do that. Like the Bucks shouldn't trade Giannis. Giannis should leave. Like the Portland would have kept Dame, but Dame finally forces away KG, Minnesota. There's a history of this, right? So anyways,
do it the right way.
Do it the right way.
You wait too long until they ask out, and then you get a haul.
Yeah.
Joey,
I think one more point. I think that's another case for Anthony Edwards is you have Luka, who is a generational talent. But his team,
he's going to start getting knocked for this now. Yeah,
his team mid-season trades him.
And they traded him.
Say about you? What does that say about you as a player?
What does that say about you?
That's a good point.
It is a good point. Oh, does it just say your general manager's a crazy person? Joey, what do you think? Joey, all right, you've heard the debates here, both sides. Where did you land, and did any sort of this conversation sway you?
I need to be sold on why Anthony Edwards is shooting 10 3-pointers a game.
He's making 40%.
Okay.
It's math.
But like is 10. But like they're worse this year than they were last year when he was shooting just over 6.
Well, I mean, they lost their.
I'm not sure their record is
best player.
I'm just trying to like piece through this.
I'm just asking questions.
I am. I'm asking questions of the diehards in Minnesota. That helps.
His true shooting's up this year. Actually, he's at. He's I don't know.
Scoring's up as a whole. Just feels like I was kind of thinking like Chris's clutch comment.
Yeah.
Is he trying maybe? Is he trying right now to maybe be somebody that he's not, and he needs to kind of just find his way back to maybe what he should be, which is a smash mouth in your face, play at the rim, play above the rim player.
When he goes above the rim,
I disagree with that just because I feel like John Morant should have developed. Oh, you're asking questions. Yeah, John Morant, I wish had developed like a 3-point, but the guy's not going to be playing in like 4 years. It feels like because he doesn't have any range. While Edwards kind of built some longevity with his shooting. But no, the clutch thing, we gotta keep an eye on this, guys. Like, what?
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on 1 for 23 seems low. But Joe, you did. I noticed you kind of maybe haven't answered the question here. Are you taking Luka here?
I'm probably going to take Luka right now.
Okay.
I want to see. I hate to see I hate the consistency because we talk a lot about it, but like Ant for me, like it just seems like you'll hear about him for like 2 weeks when he's on like a little bit of a run, and then he just kind of
highlight,
he's kind of under the radar. Like, and maybe that's okay. Maybe he just doesn't want to be the face of the league. Like I feel like he's maybe kind of in that zone of like I don't know if I want this kind of thing. But if that's what's continued to be sold to me as a fan, then me as a fan wants you to live up to that. Like that's the expectation. So until then, I'll take the guy who's been playing professional basketball since he was like 14 and has mega high basketball IQ and kind of does it all minus defense sometimes.
Okay. I like those takes. I think once again, like the Tatum Giannis, we're split here. I'm an Ant guy, but it's mostly because I'm not a Luka guy, to be honest.
Luka seems like such your vibe, though.
He lost me though in that finals. That it broke me for a Luka guy. Like I couldn't watch that guy yell, effing challenge that when he was about to foul out. Like that was just, I was like, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I forgot about that Fallout.
That's tough.
That's
tough. That's tough. And I like Ant. I think, I kind of agree with you, Joey, in the sense that I don't know if he's quite there yet as far as like that face of the league type of guy. But I certainly think he's got that potential, and I don't see any reason why he won't ultimately become that level of player. I mean, he's got if Tatum's got zero aura, it's because Ant's got it all. So, yeah, I mean, he's a baller.
It's a good one.
So he's got the juice. I like those questions. All right. Any other kind of would you rather you guys want to throw out here, or we got plenty of time, I guess. We move quick tonight. Unless you guys want to talk NCAA.
Do it. Give us some games to watch for, some players to watch for, or something.
Let me pull up my bracket. So, all
How's
right,
U of I, man?
U of I think they're going to go kind of far. Well,
yeah,
kind of far.
So, all right, I'll give you guys a little while I'm finding my bracket here and pulling it up.
They got two guys on their team that I can't pronounce their names.
Yeah, one of the guys I wrote it down.
Are you saying that as a positive or just a statement?
No, they're like really good European athletes.
Yeah, they're very European, and I could not get them either.
So you're saying you take the Europeans over American players?
I'm just saying.
One of them was projected to go to the Bulls. The point guard, he's like 6'6".
That's what they need. Another point guard. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's take them.
Yeah.
Another 6'6" point guard.
Loaded with point guards.
6'6" point guard from the state. Let's get them. We need it.
I cannot find my bracket here, guys. But I'm trying to find it. But like some games, let's start with some players to watch. There's certainly a lot of draft potential here in the tournament. Obviously, number one, Cooper Flagg, the guy everybody's been talking about, playing for Duke. The second number one overall seed. They got a great draw, is what they've been saying, and what I believe. They really haven't been tested too much in the ACC, and ultimately, I believe they're going to walk to the Final Four and most likely to the championship. Probably the team I'm picking to win it. I got to sit there and crunch the numbers and get it right. But certainly him. There's also a couple of other guys on that team. Cam Malawach, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Big dude in the middle, 7'2". Huge guy. Duke is just huge all over. I believe their starting five averages 6'6". So for a college team is ridiculous. Yeah, which is kind of why I think I also have Con Knipple, who's a small forward, feisty kind of guy. I think who's going to be interesting to watch. Some other players to watch: VJ Edgecombe and Baylor, Danny Wolf at Michigan, Derek Queen at Maryland. All should be early rounds. I don't know how far they're going to go. Maryland has a chance to maybe make a little bit of noise. Baylor and Michigan, maybe not so much. Michigan's got a tough draw in the first round for sure. But definitely want to watch those games. Trey Johnson's playing tonight at Texas as a play-in team and could possibly get into the tournament. They would then be playing Illinois. So that could be a tough one. But so Illinois, if Texas wins, that's a good matchup to watch if you're looking for NBA prospects, all in the kind of the top 10. And then this guy Jace Richardson out of Michigan State. That should be fun to watch. And Jeremiah Fears in Oklahoma. So those are the teams to watch.
What about Braden Smith?
Braden Smith, is he on
Purdue?
Purdue? Oh, he's not. I don't think he's
okay.
He's a good player. No, he's a good player. Good college player.
He's first team, all whatever they call it.
Are you guys gonna be locked into the March Madness at all? Are you watching the first round?
Oh, of course.
Sure.
My favorite time of the year. I usually pay attention a little bit more than I admittedly have. I think I've just been not paying attention as much as normal.
I've got a 2-seed question.
Yeah, go for it.
Which 2-seed has a longer run, Michigan State or Alabama? Because I've heard a lot of people questioning Alabama's ability to make a run here.
Yeah, so I'm going to preface, or I'm going to say I'm going to give you a third team that I feel is going to have even longer run. I love Alabama. They stole my heart in last year's tournament, but ultimately lost to Duke. Grant Nelson, who I think is a pretty good player. I think he could maybe be a pro late rounder, maybe, or early second round kind of player. Just an energy, maybe like a Jaime Jaquez type thing going on. But I love him. Weird mustache, but he's good. But I ultimately think...
Oh, that's Golden then. Yeah.
No, the Golden... Yeah. Ultimately, I think Alabama's going to get beat at some point. They also they're in the bracket with Duke, so it's pretty easy draw, but they get St. Mary's pretty early.
Yeah.
Who is a pretty good...
Michigan State has the bracket with Auburn.
Yeah, but I think they can get Auburn. That's another one that a lot of people like Michigan State going to the Final Four, but also ultimately could lose to Auburn. But if you're going for a number 2, go for the Johnnies, man. St. John's down at the bottom against Florida.
I think that's it. I thought I heard a lot of good things about Florida.
Oh yeah, Florida won the SEC, best conference in the league or the NCAA, and yeah, they're primed to make a run. But
Billy Donovan,
Billy Donovan, well, he's on the Bulls now.
Is he?
Is he? He's coach. He's quote unquote coaching the Bulls.
Yikes!
Keep that continuity, man. That's what we need.
Yeah, no, I Florida just has become like the trendy. They're winning the national championship pick, so I think I have to fade them a little bit. And
do you guys have a team that consistently makes a tournament that you just have a hard time believing in because they've just absolutely obliterated you in the past? Mine's
Purdue,
Michigan State, which is why I asked the question, because it's hard for me to do. Purdue, okay.
Purdue
before last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they made the finals last year, but it seems like every other time. A lot of Big Ten schools. I'm not going to lie.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's always Big Ten.
Illinois, Michigan State, Purdue.
Marquette's another one that breaks my heart off.
Yeah, Marquette.
Are there any teams that you guys, if you see them like a double-digit seed, you're like, oh, I remember this team. I'm picking them again to win round one, like a 12 seed or 13, like a Wofford.
There was, yeah.
Lipscomb.
Did they win? Yeah.
No, there was Creighton's usually an automatic pick for me. Gonzaga's usually an automatic pick for me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
I like Vanderbilt this year. I
like them.
Mm-hmm. I usually try to take a MAC team. I don't think I've ever gotten it right. It's Akron this year.
Akron.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Oh.
Playing Arizona. They're
Akron.
That's not going to go well for them.
We'll see. Arizona's okay. I mean, Arizona's good. They won the Pac-12, but
so I'm looking at the championship odds. For some reason, 8th ranked Gonzaga has like the 15th best odds. They're right in the 3-4 grouping.
Yeah, I believe they are considered underseeded, or that they were seeded 8th when they should have been like a 5. I think they were quite highly ranked early in the season and then just struggled. Maybe it was a health stuff in the middle of the season, just had a bad run. But they're one of those teams that if they put it together, they could easily make a run. A lot of people like them for the Final Four.
Yeah.
Mark, any other thoughts on the March Madness? Are you a big college guy or just mostly pros?
I'm a March Madness guy, so I'm all about the tournament.
Yes.
The season I'll follow on and off. Don't watch a lot of games, but March Madness I lock in. Going back to your question about who breaks my heart the most, I feel like Duke. There's been a decent number of years where I've had them in the Final Four, in the championship game, and they've lost in the round of 32, and it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, so, certainly recently, and last year was a heartbreaker too.
Yeah.
NC State got him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll happen this year if Cooper's healthy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just fun. It's fun to watch the upsets. My question is, who this year is your biggest Cinderella pick to go deepest in the tourney?
For me, it was U of I. I put them in my Final Four.
Nice. 6th seed.
I currently have Clemson in my Final Four.
I'm with Joey on that one. Clemson is a team that I just like them.
Okay.
I've watched them a couple times this year. They're not. I mean, they're 5 seeds, so not super low, but they're not considered a real contender. So
I wanted to pick Omaha, Nebraska, because I thought it was hilarious that there's a team called Omaha, Nebraska in the tournament, but they're playing St. John's, even though St. John's isn't good, right? They're
St. John's is good. Ricky P.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, but
Bill Wennington went to St. John's, if anybody's curious.
The St. Johnnies. Nice. Ooh, nice. If anyone's curious, they have become the Boston Celtics of the college realms in our house.
Yeah.
In the Dominguez household stuff.
Yeah, really? St. John's?
Yeah.
Let me scratch them out. Fuck that.
Yeah, they've replaced North Carolina this year, who have not been as good. So
I always like watching Yale go up against like an SEC team. They're going up against Texas A&M this year.
That's gonna be fun.
And I remember they played LSU. I can't remember how long ago that was, but that was one of the most fun games of the tournament because they're two completely different play styles. Super athletic, physicality at LSU, and just sneaky like athletic. All the brains, sneaky athletic guys on Yale, right?
Team
and Yale pulled it out.
They beat Auburn last year, I believe, is what their
that's right.
Year, yeah. So
wow,
they could do it again. But yeah, it's always fun, and I usually have the day off on Friday and a half day on Thursday, so I'll be ready to go.
There you go.
There you go, all set.
All right. Anything else tonight, guys? You guys want to call it a night for the box?
Call it.
Go watch this Bulls Suns game.
Bulls Suns. I mean, you mean Texas and
no.
Oh, that was a hard no.
Bulls
Suns.
What do you mean?
New Orleans.
Hey, we're the 9 seed. We're making a push here.
Hey, we got to get this dub.
We got to get this dub, man. These games count.
I love
hey,
Guinness
we're almost
Joey.
the same seed as the Timberwolves. So just saying.
Whoa! Shots across the bow at the end of the pod.
Records don't matter when you play by conference. What?
Oh, that's why he bleeds red. Well, that is it for us tonight.
Bulls.
Follow us on social media.
Seed in the East, man. Timberwolves.
Damn, that's actually.
Records don't matter when you play by conference.
Well, follow us on social media at the Box Out Boys. Slide in those DMs. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube and Spotify. We very much appreciate that. So for our special guest, Mark, and the rest of the Box Out Boys, until next time, Box Out.